everybody, Lord Tremendous here. Got a battle report here for you. 2,000 point battle, Warriors of Chaos versus the High Elves. And this is the first time since I've been doing battle reports that I've run into the High Elves. Might be the first time I've run into them since I started playing the Old World. Maybe one other time. But this is the first recorded battle, so that really is what counts. And you know what? It's good to see my old nemesis across the field. I'm looking forward to murdering them and them trying to murder me. So sit back, relax, and get ready to see the carnage. Here's my list, and I made a slight change to this to my list. Not huge, but just, here and there, try to make it as efficient and broken as humanly possible. I have 998 points of characters, because, yep. And it starts off with my Chaos Lord, who's my general, Marker Nurgle. He's on a demonic mount, Ogre Blade, Favor of the Gods, Brazen Collar. I really tried to do something without the Ogre Blade and stuff like that, and it's just stupid. I mean, AP 2, +2 strength, D3 wounds, with Armor Bane 1. There is nothing better for 65 points. I've already got a ward save. He's already got full plate armor. You show me a better kit, and I'll show you why you're wrong. Favor of the Gods, because duh, and Brazen Collar, because when you cast magic at my guy, I want it to fail. And of course, he's got the Enchanting Aura, because he needs to be as annoying as possible. As my Sorcerer Lord, Lord Tremendous, he's on his Chariot, level 4 Wizard of Demonology, Mark of Chaos Undivided with the Spell Familiar, Tome of the Dark Gods, Favor of the Gods, Ruby Ring of Ruin, and the Biting Blade. And this is just because I like the idea of having a mobile platform where he's firing off 3 magic missiles a turn. Will they all go off? Absolutely not. But the potential for him to do it is there, and that's really what I like. The Biting Blade is just so that when he does hit and wound, it hopefully sticks. And then, of course, I've got the Exalted Sorcerer, who I'm pretty sure I'm going to name the Puppet Master. He's a level 2 wizard with Battle Magic and the Mark of Tzeentch. He's on a Chaos Steed, and he's got the Infernal Puppet. Yeah, I know, he's not going to live long, but while he's on the table, my opponent's magic phase will suffer. In core, I've got 2 units of Chaos Warhounds, butt naked. They're just there for chaff. And then a unit of Chaos Knights, full command lances, Rampaging Banner, Brazen Collar, and the Mark of Khorne. And my second unit of 6x Knights, full command lances, Banner of Rage, Brazen Collar, and Mark Nurgle. So they hit like they're frenzied, because they are. They can't lose frenzy until you rip down my banner. And they stink, so they're hard to hit on 6s. And then in special, I'm down to 1 Dragon Ogre, but he's a Shartak with a great weapon and the Blackened Plate, so he's my favorite kit of Dragon Ogre. And then in rare, I have a gigantic Spawn of Chaos with the Spawn of Khorne, and another one. This one is the Spawn of Nurgle. I'm testing it out just to see which I like better, Impact Hits and Killing Blow, or Poison and a 5-up regen. I'm also toying with trying out a Slaanesh one with Countercharge and Strikes First, I believe. I'm going to toy around with them, see what I like, what I dislike, and make a decision when I feel like it. So yeah, there. Here's my opponent's list, and my buddy Wrathgar decided to throw a High Elf list together because he likes to try out everything, and that's the wonderful thing about Warhol. You can do it basically for a subscription. So he has 738 points total in characters, starting with his Prince, who's his general. He's got full plate armor and his shield, he's on a Frost Phoenix, and he's got all the Tremendous: Seed of Rebirth, Dragon Helm, Ogre Blade, and he's an Anointed of Asuryan. And then, of course, we have an Archmage, level 4 Wizard with Illusion, Sword of Hoeth, because, Spectral Doppelganger. Seed of Rebirth, Talisman of Protection, Sigil of Asuryan, and she is a Warden of Safri. He's got 554 points in core, and it's basically 2 units of 20 Lothran Sea Guard with full command. They're veterans. They got Thrusting Spears, Warbows, Light Armors, and Shields. In special, he's got 538 points of a huge brick of 30 Swordmasters. They've got full command, heavy armor. They're drilled. The unit champion has the Lore Master's Cloak, Seed of Rebirth, and the unit has the War Banner in it. In rare, he's got 167 points of Sisters of Avalorn, 8 of them. The High Sister has 2 Obsidian Lodestones, which makes sense, and they have the Bows of Avalorn and light armor. I haven't run into High Elves except for maybe once since I started playing the Old World, which isn't saying a lot, but this is like my most hated army. I hate High Elves. I hate all elves, don't get me wrong, I discriminate per race, but the High Elves, I hate them the most, followed closely by the Dark Elves, and then actually, believe it or not, Wood Elves are a distant third. If it wasn't for my deep-seated hatred of elves, I might actually entertain a Wood Elf list. But no, I have to murder them instead. So this'll be fun. Here are the spells I got for this one. My level 4 got Blue Flame, The Summoning, Fleshy Abundance, Demonic Familiars, and Vortex of Chaos. And then little level 2 Puppet Master got Blue Flame and Arcane Urgency. My opponent ended up getting the Mirage, Column of Crystal, Mind Razor, and Vol's Unmaking, which is actually the most terrifying spell in existence if you think about it. Here's deployment, and honestly, I saw how dense his units were and everything, and how small his army was overall, and I was just like, you know what, I'm going to try to surround him. I've got the ability to get the flanks, I might as well try. So on the left flank there, I've got my Puppet Master Mage running around, because that's where his caster's at. Right next to them is my Chaos Lord. His job is to get into combat with his caster as soon as possible and take him off the field so that my level 4 over there on the right flank and the Chariot can do whatever he wants. The dogs next to the Chaos Lord and the Dragon Ogre, I didn't have anywhere else to put them. I wasn't really sure. I was like, maybe if something pops up or if I can see a redirect or a block, sure, but otherwise, I'm probably just going to leave them right there. The other unit of dogs is working interference for the Frenzied Knights, simply because I don't want them to charge until I'm ready. The 2 spawn are there to run into whatever they can and it's infantry. It's mostly infantry. This is exciting. My level 4 in the Chariot, yeah, he's going to go through the woods. It's a gamble. I know dangerous terrain is D3 wounds, and that's really, really stupid, but stupid is all I got sometimes. So he's over there, so he can't be shot at if I don't go first, and if I do have to go through the woods, he'll get cover. It's a risk, but he also can't have any of his spells stopped, and if I can get the Infernal Puppet within 24 inches of his caster, I could possibly completely nerf his magic phase. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for there. And then, of course, my second unit of knights is going to run around the flank there, try to get any flank charge or charge opportunity as they can. They are frenzied, so whatever they're looking at, they're going to try to kill, and that was my plan for deployment. As for my opponent, he's got his 2 Lothran Sea Guards, sitting there. He's got his sister's skirmish unit right there, and his caster joined that unit. He's got his Lord on a Frost Phoenix on the hill, and that big brick right there that you're seeing on our right side is all of his Swordmasters. That's it for deployment. And without further ado, here's top of turn 1 after movement, and he got to go first. So my plan of sticking my Sorcerer behind the woods was a good one. I don't care what you better players think. But anyway, he comes forward a little bit, not a ton. I mean, his Sea Guard just want to get in range to shoot at me. His Sword Masters are just trying to be intimidating, and his scouts, or his sisters, I'm sorry, whatever. I mean, everything just kind of trundles forward about 5 inches. Nothing crazy. Nothing goes off in the magic phase here, so his Sea Guard immediately show the Puppet Master they are not impressed with his show, and the Puppet Master actually makes enough saves to survive. He does take a wound, so just barely enough, but he's still alive, and that's super important. His scouts shoot at really the only viable target they have, and that's the dogs, and they take them down to 4, which is just, honestly, we don't do well with dog abuse. Yeah, one more reason that high elves are just the absolute worst. And then, true to form, they shoot at the other unit of dogs, taking them down to 3. I don't understand all the animal hate. I mean, these are elves, right? They're supposed to be one with the animals. They're, like, adjacent to the wood elves. What's happening? What has the elf culture come through? We're going to have to beat them up. Nobody hurts the dogs. Nobody. Nothing else happens, so here's bottom of turn 1. And honestly, we fire forward. The dogs on the left flank, I push back. I'm just going to try to save those points. The 3 others are very angry, and they move forward to dare them to shoot at them again, because they're just so rude. My knights hold back a little bit, because I'm half hoping that his Phoenix charges the dogs, and then I can countercharge with the knights in my turn. We'll see how that goes. My lord, he moves up. That's the reason that the charge arc is up. He moves up to threaten the archers to try to get a hold of them. I am hoping that maybe I can get a charge off on the scouts after I deal with the archers, the Sea Guard in front of me. I'm also very curious to see how well my Chaos Lord's going to do, weathering the shots and everything like that. The Puppet Master runs behind the forest because he's half dead. Yes, I know, pessimistic, but honest. And I'm trying to get him within 24 inches of the caster without getting his head blown off. The two spawn move up conservatively so that the Phoenix can't charge them, but they could threaten anything that he might try to do. The Knights come around the edge. I was a little too aggressive with them. I should have held them back a little bit, but... well, it is what it is. I don't always make great choices. And then my sorcerer in the chariot moves up into the woods, passes the dangerous terrain, gets Flushy Abundance off, and we go into the magic phase. My Sorcerer Lord fires off all the magic missiles that they have, and I believe I was within range of his level 4 to stop him, but that didn't stop me from killing 9 of the dog-murdering half-elf scum. High-elf scum. They're purebloods. And, yeah, you know what? That should teach them a lesson. You shoot my dogs, I'll remove your genealogy from the pool. I think that's justice. Nothing else happens in my turn, so we go over here to top of 2, and he scares the hell out of me. I'm sorry, I did get the Vortex of Chaos off. I forgot to take a picture of it. It bounced through the Sword Masters this turn and killed like 1 or 2, not a ton. But then in his movement phase, it's, he comes thundering towards my Sorcerer Lord in the woods, which I'm okay with because he's going to just go over to the right and get out of the woods and not deal with that at all, because no, he can't take a prince on a Phoenix. He's tough, but he's not that tough, and I'm certainly not going to try to charge him in the woods. That seems like suicide. The rest of his stuff, his Swordmasters redress the ranks and then turn in position to accept the oncoming charge from the Knights. The rest of his stuff, his archers that I wounded move forward a little bit, and the scouts move up, the Sisters of Avalorn move up with the caster, and I saw that and I got excited because that's when I realized they were immune to psychology. So if I can charge them, they can stand and shoot, but they can't flee, and it's only like 14 inches away, and since he's movement 8 with Swift Stride, that's very doable. So I'm really hoping that I can roll average next turn. Other than that, nothing happens in the movement phase. In shooting, the only thing that occurs is these rat bastards, who I already taught a lesson to last turn, murder the remaining 3 dogs that ran up to just play, to just say, hi, how are ya? There is no such thing as a good high elf, period. And that takes us to bottom of turn 2. And so, yeah, I was like, I'm gonna play Warriors of Chaos the way Warriors of Chaos should be played. I charge my general into the Sisters of Avalorn with the caster attached, and I make it. And my opponent was like, all right, are they going to flee? And I'm like, they're immune to psychology, brother. And he was like, oh! Yeah, I mean, new army. He plays a bunch of different armies, so he just didn't realize it. And that's what we play these games for. Fun and to learn. But I'm going to enjoy every single unsaved wound that I cause in this attack. As for the center there, my Dragon Ogre and my Spawn slam into the Lutheran Sea Guard, which is great. I'm going a little out of order, but whatever. The Knights on the right flank there, they had the charge, and they made it into the Swordmasters. I know they're dead. You know they're dead. My opponent knows they're dead, but they're going to take as many of these Swordmasters with them as they can. And since I had nowhere else to put my caster, I thought about moving her out of the way, putting her around the side, but I couldn't even shoot at the Swordmasters. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go for it. The Sorcerer Lord is slamming into the Prince on the Phoenix. He's going to get impact hits. And just because I want the extra combat res, I'm sending in the Spawn as well. So, yeah, we're all in. I did try to send in my my Knights as well to get that flank combat res, but they failed to charge. There was nothing for it. And my other unit of surviving dogs, seeing what happened to their brothers from the horrible, horrible elves, runs behind the hill to hide and save their points. Meanwhile, Puppet Master goes around the forest. He's going to poke out next turn and start shooting them with magic missiles, but for the time being, he's just going to sit there in case my Lord fails, flees, gets run down. At least the caster will be within Infernal Puppet range. That's it for my movement. Nothing else happens because my casters are either in combat or behind a forest, so they can't see anything, so we go straight into combat. And yeah, the Dragon Ogre and the Chaos Spawn do their thing. They murder murder 10 of the remaining 11 Sea Guard. I do take 1 wound on my Dragon Ogre for his troubles. However, the 1 remaining elf flees. He bounces through the sisters, survives. I pursued with both. My Dragon Ogre actually made it into the sisters. My spawn was stopped by him, unfortunately. So that's where they ended up after the pursuit. We go into this combat next, and he issues a challenge. I accept with my Dragon Ogre, and his wizard proceeds to murder the Dragon Ogre. My boy, my 2-up armor save, and just obliterates the Dragon Ogre. In return, I think I kill 6 or 7 of the sisters with the Chaos Lord. I do still win this combat, but he rolls well enough to just fall back in good order. I pursue, and we end up right here. In this combat, obviously the Sorcerer Lord accepts a challenge, or he issues a challenge. Either way, it's not a great picture. I apologize for that. But I do 1 wound to him. He does none in return. I have close order times 2 plus 1 wound. I win by 3. He makes his check, and I believe he fell back in good order. We both pursued, and we slam back into him here, which is great because I get my impact hits again, and I pass my dangerous terrain. So even better. Things are looking good. So we go into this one, and I kill like 6 of the Sword Masters, which isn't great, but not terrible. I'm not upset about that. But in return, 5 Chaos Knights die. That sucked. I lose this combat. And then, including Swift Stride, I literally run like 3 inches. That's how terrible my Knights did. I knew it was going to go bad. This is exactly what should have happened, but it still feels like getting kicked in the stomach by a mule. So here's top of 3 after movement, and things are taking a little bit of a turn. So yeah, his archers turn to shoot at either my either my knights or my spawn. I don't remember which. And his sword masters go charging into my sorcerer lord to give all that glorious combat res to their prince. That is gonna go poorly for me, I guarantee it. Other than that, his 1 remaining sea guard does not rally and is almost off the table. And that's it for movement. Nothing happens in Magic because his caster is in combat, and his Sea Guard, they shoot, but they don't really do anything. So we go into combat, and yeah, the challenge is still going on. I do everything I can. I roll like ass, and my opponent rolls great for his saves. Not that he had to make more than, I think, 1. And in return, he obliterates my Sorcerer Lord. Broke my damn heart. His swordmasters easily restrained and turn to face the real fight, while his prince continues on into my spawn, who just gave ground because he's unbreakable. Oof! Oof, did that hurt. That hurt a lot. In this combat over here, I believe I'm in combat with the unit champion that's in the unit, and I do the full 6, taking no wounds in return because my Chaos Lord is a badass and will beat up on an high elf woman. He doesn't care. So all of his low rolling has really helped him out, with the exception of the Prince against the Sorcerer Lord, I'll give you that. But all his other low rolling actually paid off here. He lost by 6 and still made his check. He fell back in good order, and of course I pursued. Here's bottom of turn 3, and yeah, my knights finally make it into the flank of his prince, just in the nick of time. My other spawn, he moves towards the Sea Guard, but I think he rolled like a 5. It was a really low roll, which means his stupid sword masters are going to get in there no problem. My guy, the puppet master on the left flank, he moves up just to sneak past the woods to fire at the archers to do as much damage as he can. He's only got blue flame, but blue flame is pretty terrifying. And yeah, the dogs stay behind the hill. That's pretty much it for movement. Again, nothing happens in the shooting phase, so we go straight into combat, and this battle goes very poorly for my unit champion. Obviously, my opponent wishes a challenge, my unit champion has to accept, and he proceeds to do 7 wounds to him. Well, I'm sorry, he does 6 wounds total, plus he's got close order for a total of 7 combat res. I obviously do nothing to him because it is what it is, but I have flank, banner, and 2 close orders, so I lose by 3. So I end up falling back in good order with the knights, and the spawn gives ground 2 inches because it's unbreakable. My opponent restrains and turns to face the Chaos Lord because he wants to save his Archmage. That was actually, in my opinion, a huge reprieve. I'm excited about that. I'm curious to see what happens. So let's get to it. It is too little too late. My Chaos Lord is able to destroy his Archmage. We issue a challenge. I don't think they got off their, what's it called? Their assailment. I either stopped it or it didn't go off or it didn't hurt me, one of the three. But in return, the Chaos Lord hurts the Archmage very, very badly, and she will be sacrificed to Tzeentch or Slaanesh shortly after this game. The final sister, seeing the Archmage getting tied to the side of my demonic mount, freaks out, tries to run, and gets just murdered while she's tired. Shouldn't have ran. Should not have ran. I do try to test catch the curs, and I fail my leadership check. Not that it matters, he's a skirmisher, but, you know, it's just a bad picture. All right, it's been wild, but here's top of turn 4, and as you can see, his Phoenix charges into my Chaos Lord. He wants vengeance, which he may or may not get. We will see. His Swordmasters completely redress the ranks and just go as wide as they possibly can, and then turn to face whatever they think is going to slam into him. I have no interest in that fight whatsoever. His Seaguard back up a little bit to make the Chaos Spawns charge a little bit more impossible, and that's it for movement. So once again, nothing happens in the shooting phase. They try, they fail. So we go over here to combat, and we start with the generals. I end up doing 5 wounds. Well, I get 5 combat res. I do 2 wounds to him. He saves 3 through regen. Still combat res, so I have 5 combat res. He does 2 to me, and he's got close order for a total of 3. He loses by 2. And he breaks and he flees. He flees through the Swordmasters, who in turn have to take a panic check, and they fail it. He rolled like an 11 and a 12, and then for the panic check, I think he rolled like a 4. They didn't go very far, which would have been hilarious if they bounced through the spawn. But yeah, not expecting that. Not expecting that at all. You know exactly what my Chaos Lord did. He pursued, and he ran that bastard down, drug him off his cold, stupid chicken, and dashed his head against the ground until he no longer kicked. It was beautiful. It was poetry. It was every good part of the Bible. I was very pleased. So in bottom of 4 here, we move forward to go after the Seaguard on the left flank there. The Knights and the Spawn, neither of them make it, but hopefully next turn they will. Puppet Master moves down. They are just touching, like one is just touching the corner of the wood so he can see him, so we can try to shoot at him. My Spawn and my General charges the Swordmasters, and they fled. So they fled through the Spawn. They did take a bunch of perils check, and I think 4 died, 3 or 4 died. A significant amount died, honestly, which is great. But they did get away due to the woods. The Lord wasn't able to catch them. And then, of course, due to the random movement, I had to spin around on his wheel and did not slam into him while they were fleeing. But yeah, that's where they ended up, and that was pretty much it for movement. We go into the magic phase, and Puppet Master fires off his blue flame, hits and wounds 8 times, killing 8 Seaguard. I don't know what was happening in this guy's head, but he took it all out on the Seaguard, and I am here for it. They did pass their panic check, in case you were wondering, and then we go over here to top of 5. His Swordmasters rally. The archers move forward a little bit more so that more can get into the woods to shoot back at the Puppet Master, and that's it for movement. We go into shooting phase, and those bastard Seaguard, they shoot down Puppet Master, murdering him in cold blood. I respect it, and I hate them for it. That takes us here to bottom of 5, and it's all we can stand, we can't stand no more. The Knights charge the rear of the Seaguard, who redress their ranks because they have that ability, but the Knights make it in there. But because they redress, the Spawn can't get in there during the compulsory move, so he just kind of moves up as far as he can. I didn't roll real high for him. But the Knights made it in there, and that should be enough. The Chaos Lord down here charges into the Swordmasters. Ill-advised, I know, but I need to know what his limits are, so he goes in. I was hoping that the Spawn was going to join him, but literally misses by like 2 or 3 inches because of the woods, is what it is. Well, I mean, the woods helped. He wouldn't have made it even if the woods weren't in the way. But yeah, that's it for movement. We're going to see what happens. Pretty much everything with ranged attacks is dead or in combat, so we go to combat. And I believe I issue a challenge. His unit champion says not only no, but hell no, and goes to the second rank that he made just before I charge him. Very smart. And so I attack, and I end up doing, I total of like 6 wounds or something like that. Just crazy amounts of wounds get through. I end up winning by 6 because when he counterattacks, he doesn't do enough to hurt me. Like, I'm able to save everything. I take no damage for my troubles. I win by, I mean, he's got close order. He's got a banner. I believe it's a war banner. So I think I only win by like 2 or 3 max. And he falls back in good order. I pursue, we slam back into each other, and that's what we'll be for next combat. We do this combat over here. I kill 6. I want to say I kill 6 of his Sea Guard. In return, I take no damage back, which I was very surprised about. I believe he rolls so well on his break check that all he does is give... No, he falls back in good order because they're turning to face me, but he doesn't fall back very far. I want to say like 2, maybe 3 inches. I, of course, pursue, and we end up right here. Nothing else I can do, so we go to top of 6, and there's nothing that happens. His sword masters are in combat with my lord, and his Sea Guard are in combat with my knights. There is no magic or shooting, so we shoot right into combat, and things shift a little bit. I kill 2 of his guard, he kills 2 of mine. I believe I have 2, a banner in close order. He has 2 and a banner. I think I still win by 1, barely. But he's able to just fall back in good order. I pursue, and we end up right here. We go over to his sword masters. I kill 4 of them this time. His unit champion once again declines the challenge. He's got close order, banner, and war banner for a total of 3. I killed 4 of his guys. I win by 1, but I believe all that happens is he gives ground. I think he rolls well enough that he just gives ground. So that's where we end up, because of course I'm going to pursue. And with that, we go to bottom of turn 6. My spawn on the left flank just can't seem to reach them. I can't roll high enough. But on the right flank, the spawn makes it into the sword masters. Is that a great idea? I don't know, but we're going to find out. That's it for movement. So we go straight into combat because there's no reason not to. And they kill another knight. The Sea Guard kill another knight. I kill another 2 of the Sea Guard. I win by 1 because our banners kind of close each other out and neither of us have close order. And yeah, they give ground. You only lost by 1. It wasn't hard. I know they're technically -1 leadership, but I think he rolled like a 3. So he gave ground, and honestly, I just restrained. My knights respected the fact that these 2 piddly little elves were still like fighting and dropping them 1 by 1. So they gave them the respect of. In turn 7, the narrative in my head is the gigantic spawn of Khorne slams into them and makes him 1 with his gelatinous mass. So honorific death. Or no, horrific death. Over here, things get crazy. Of course, now his unit champion has to accept a challenge. Or, well, I have to accept a challenge from his unit champion. He's the one that issued it. My Chaos Lord is able to destroy him. In return, my spawn does impact hits and all sorts of craziness. In the end, it's like I do 12 to his 7, and I win by a lot. And I don't remember. I know he at least falls back in good order. I can't remember if he runs off the table or if we catch him. But in the end, that's where we all end up. And yes, that one little swordmaster is not alive. It's just the unit champion that my Chaos Lord beat into oblivion, which is exactly what should happen to all swordmasters. It's just, they're dog killers. They all deserve it. And there it is. There's the end of the game. It was a victory for Lord Tremendous, which is always, when you're killing elves, you win either way. Who cares what the points say? But yeah, there's only 2 elves left on the table who are about to be force-fed to a gigantic spawn. And I mean, I did get some serious losses. Both my sorcerers are dead. The knights, 1 unit of very brave dogs. But this was an excellent game, and I'm looking forward to getting into the recap. So let's get to it. Man, did I forget how fun it is to kill high elves. They're more supple than wood elves, and they don't smell as bad as dark elves. So it's really the perfect elf to just mutilate. Still got some testing out to do with the characters and the kit outs, but I'm getting closer anyway, and that's exciting. But I'm starting to dial in how I want to play my characters and how I want the army to support them. The Chaos Lord really did well. I don't know about him being on the demonic mount. I'm thinking a mana core, maybe a chariot. I want him to be a little more beefy. I do know I lose that 360 charge arc, which obviously was super important in this game, but I don't know. There's just something about having stomp attacks. We'll see. The spawn, they remind me a lot of my Mutilate Vortex Beast. I really like their ability to just that wild card, and having two of them is a lot of fun. Still not sure on the marks. I think I like Korn better than Nurgle. I guess, I don't know. It's so situational. I got lucky quite a few times getting that lucky charge off against his character, just the way everything worked out. The Chaos Lord making his saves, that was insane. His general breaking and then like going 5 inches and easily getting run down. A lot of that was incredibly lucky, and my opponent was rolling really bad. I mean, better lucky than good any day, but damn, just I'll take what I can get. And now the fun part. I get to add High Elves to the pile for skulls for the Skull Throne. I got a Prince. I got that Frost Phoenix. I don't care. I know. Some people say he flew away, but I got enough of him that the gods were appeased. And I got that Archmage. Ooh, that sacrifice. Let me tell you something. I don't know which god we sent her to, but she did not enjoy it. In the core, I added 38 Lothern Sea Guard to my total. I got 30 Sword Masters out of special and 8 Sisters of Avalorn. It was a good day to be a Warrior of Chaos. No updates here, just like to show off my numbers. Same here, just enjoy seeing all the corpses of Wood Elves and, unworthy Tomb Kings. And there's some Chaos Dwarves and Orcs and Goblins. I'd love to fight some more Orcs and Goblins someday. It really got to bump those numbers up. And that's it. Another battle report is in the history books. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. And as always, thanks